What's up, everyone? This is Nevernan, and today I will be doing a video talking about and analyzing my game versus Toadow in Week 7 of MWP3. So, in this game, I'm playing Generation 8 LC, or Little Cup, and basically, this metagame is basically about using level 5 baby mons and duking it out in a monotype form fashion. So, for this, I brought Rock because my reasoning behind bringing a Rock team was because I think Rock is personally one of the best types in this format, especially after Grookey got banned from LC, which made Grass one of Rock's hardest matchups, basically nearly impossible for us to deal with. So yeah, I think that after Grookey's ban, I feel like Rock is just an incredible type and is really, really hard to deal with, personally. So yeah, I definitely do think that Rock is incredibly good. I'm not going to show you my team because unfortunately there are still some sets in here that I'd rather not share. So even though most of the sets are pretty much there, so I don't know. But for just because my teammates probably might reuse one or two of these, or someone else might want to use one or two of these, that might not even be on my team, I'll just leave it ambiguous for now. But if do expect me to, once the season ends, I'll probably end up making a video talking about like all the teams I used, what my reasonings were behind them, and all that. But yeah, without further ado, let's go along with the game. So obviously, my lead situation here was I was thinking my big threats were Krogunk and I thought Marini was definitely a issue. So I thought, okay, Onyx lead seems pretty obvious here because Onyx has taunt as well as like a lot of hard hitting moves. So I thought, yeah, just lead Onyx. I pretty much don't really get punished that much from it. And if he leads Oddish, I just go into Dwebble because Dwebble's Eviolite and can take a lot of hits from Oddish. And Oddish also just doesn't have a reliable sleep move, excuse me. It does have a sleep move, but it doesn't have a reliable one. And yeah. So yeah, that's why I've led with Onyx, as you'll see. Alright, so we reveal on the first turn that his coughing is neutralizing gas. I thought it would be Levitate, because obviously Levitate would be incredibly good on poison due to it being immune to ground type attacks, which is an incredibly great boon, especially since coughing is a great physically defensive wall. And can use Will-O-Wisp to basically cripple every single physical ground type in the tier. So I was pretty bewildered by the fact that it was neutralizing gas, because that meant he had like no true ground immunity. And I mean, Oddish definitely does help a little bit, but without Regenerator, I felt like it would just kind of die. So I don't know. But yeah, that took me back a little bit. But neutralizing gas actually does something nasty to me here. So obviously first turn I taunt because coughing's defensive. So obviously I'd want to taunt first turn because I don't want to get it burned or anything like that. So yeah, that was pretty obvious play. I don't really need to explain that in detail. I use Head Smash on my second turn. I take Recoil because even though I am Rockhead, neutralizing gas stopped my ability, so I ended up still taking damage. I wasn't shocked by that. I knew that was going to happen, so I just did it anyway because I knew coughing was still probably going to die to Onyx. As long as, of course, Head Smash hit. And I was sweating missing the second Head Smash. I knew I was going to hit the first one. Well, if it missed, I would have gotten a little upset, but it wasn't like game over completely because I knew coughing couldn't hit me with anything if I missed. So pressing Head Smash was literally just a risk-free play, in my opinion. So yeah, I really wasn't that worried about it. Also, I'm max speed Onyx, so if he sent in Krogunk or something, since I'm literally Eviolite, there's a very low chance that Vacuum Wave actually killed me if he like decided to switch out during any of the sludge bombs he did. because Vacuum Wave just has a very low chance to kill me at like 80 to 70%, and his Sludge Bomb just did 10. So like, I had to basically hit one, otherwise he was just never switching out, because he does not want Croagunk to take a fat head smash from Onyx, and he also can't risk letting me just get a free turn and set up Dragon Dance, because at this point in the game he doesn't know if I'm Dragon Dance or not. I'm Body Press, not Dragon Dance, but yeah, a lot of things happen in this first two turns. Oh yeah, and he also gets the poison off on me. Not really important in the grand scope of this game. It would have been important if I had missed and he also poisoned me. That would have been really bad, because then he was basically getting 20% chip every single turn, and that would have made it a lot easier for Croagunk to come in later and then just threaten me out, which would have been a really awful way to start the game. But on the other hand, it would have also allowed me to set up rocks and spikes for free, so I wasn't really all that down about it. I wouldn't have been super depressed about it, but it would have been a really bad way to start the game. But instead, we ended up killing Coughing, which was incredibly good, because this thing would have been incredibly annoying for a lot of the other people on this type to deal with, especially because of its Will-O-Wisp antics. So and basically every single offensive mod on my team is pretty much physical. There's like no special sweepers on this team, because Light Leap isn't offensive. So yeah, getting rid of this thing early was definitely really good for me, which really begs the question as to why Toadow got rid of it in the first place, but it's alright. I'm not really here to criticize his plays, I'm here to talk about what I was thinking. So yeah, we ended up killing Coughing. Onyx is basically as good as dead right now. So I actually did outspeed the Stunky, but the reason I switched out was because I was reading like a possible Sucker Punch, which isn't incredibly unreasonable to think, because this did end up being a Life Orb Stunky. But he didn't use Sucker Punch, he instead used Sludge Bomb, which was a pretty strange play, not gonna lie. He is actually 18. I'm not sure if he's max speed. So most Stunkies don't really run max speed, but because he was offensive, he may have been. So I guess using Sludge Bomb wasn't a terrible play there, but still, regardless, the Sludge Bomb he definitely read that I was going to go into Dwebble, or actually, no, he wasn't reading. He instead just knew that Sludge Bomb was to play, and it was to play. Switching into Dwebble was actually kind of a somewhat odd play from me, in retrospect, because at the time I was thinking like, oh, Stunky isn't really going to do anything to Dwebble because it's defensive EVLA. I can literally switch into any of this guy's attacks and I'll be fine. As it turns out, Stunky, Life Orb Stunky actually hits very hard against EVLA Dwebbles still, so that was something to bear witness to, as you'll see. So yeah, Sludge Bomb does a whopping 36 despite it being a resisted hit against defensive Pokemon, which was very shocking to me. And he also ends up missing Fire Blast. Missing Fire Blast there was pretty important for him, even though in the grand scope of the game, it didn't really change a ton. The reason why missing Fire Blast was really bad there was because I'd get the chip off of Poison, which would activate my Berry Juice. Oh, wait, I'm not EV like whoops. Yeah, I'm Berry Juice, so that's actually why I did a lot. I don't know why I thought that. But yeah, I definitely did just assume that this was defensive Stunky at first, so yeah. I didn't think he would be doing a ton to me, but he ended up being offensive, so that was just not good. But I ended up getting a miss from the Fire Blast, which I don't really think to change the game that much, in my opinion at least. Because if Dwebble had died here, I was just going to send out Arkin and Revenge Kill anyway. Or actually, no, I probably would have sent out Tortuga because I was still fearing Sucker Punch. So yeah, I would have sent out Tortuga. He would have gotten a free Shell Smash because obviously Stunky is going to do like a crap ton of damage. But yeah, I was just going to like send out one of my Revenge Killers and it wouldn't have been a problem. I also could have sent out my boy Tyron here. But yeah, generally I don't really think that hacks super mattered. The Fire Blast Mist was incredibly important for him, for his game plan, most likely, but I feel like in the grand scope of the game, it was still extremely winnable for me. So, yeah, even if I didn't get the hazards up, I probably would have still won. Because Oddish can't really. Since Oddish does not have a Regenerator, it can't really effectively take hits from Arkin that consistently. And Arkin is Adamant Scarf, so those Earthquakes are hitting really, really hard. But yeah. Also, I still had a bunch of threats like Tyrant, and once Krogunk eventually got forced out, it would have just been game over for him. And I also had a Lileap set that dealt with Krogunk really well, so in general, I don't really think missing the Fire Blast here was super important, but definitely just made the game a lot worse and a lot less winnable for Toadow, so I do feel bad. But yeah, I do get up the rocks, and I activate my Berry Juice, which allows me to get another hazard up for free, which will end up being a Spike. And basically, these hazards would play a very pivotal role in the game, because this basically means that nothing can switch into Arkin now. Not even Oddish can switch into Arkin now, because it takes a solid 24% from it, and then you have to add on the 40 or so percent that's going to be taking from an Arkin Earthquake, and yeah, it's just not going to be a good time. So, and I basically OHKO everything else, including Marini. So, well, actually didn't OHKO. I don't OHKO Marini, but it still gets 2-hit KO'd, which is not good for your wall. So yeah, I don't think he was expecting me to be hazard double anyway. So that's probably he was probably taken aback by that a little bit. Anyway, as I said, I sent out Arkin to revenge kill. He ended up not using Sucker Punch, which was incredibly interesting because I feel like Sucker Punch would have definitely done the job of getting Arkin low. It would have gotten Arkin low and have made it so that I didn't like clean the rest of the game super easily. But I guess regardless, I still killed his Stunky because even if I was defeatist, I'm still adamant and I still have a relatively decent attacking stat. So, and he's not and he has like no defensive stats in Stunky, so Stunky was probably going to die because he has no Eviolite and he's Life Orb. So he would have taken Life Orb chip from using Sucker Punch, and then he would have taken the big hit from Arkin even at defeatist range. So I think regardless, he still pretty much died. Oh yeah, it was also very possible that he thought that Arkin was slower than him. And to be fair, it is reasonable to think that because I have like there's like no mod that actually outspeeds him, and not many people have brought Rock this tour, so he wouldn't expect like Scarf Arkin to come out. But yeah, it came out and obviously did that. So that's probably why he ended up staying in and not using Sucker Punch. I still feel like he should have clicked Sucker Punch personally, because he would have taken less damage from whatever move I decided to use. But yeah, I ended up clicking Earthquake, and it got rid of Stunky, and Arkin stayed healthy, which it surprised me that I didn't take any chip damage. So yeah, but yeah, as you can see, Oddish, because LC calcs are really weird because they have like super little HP, so they just take different percentages of health. Yeah, he ends up taking a whopping 18% from hazards instead of the 24, which is a little significant, but in general, I wasn't super bummed out about it. I ended up sending out Onyx because I really didn't think I was going to be able to use this thing for the rest of the game. And even though it's still faster than Marini and Krogunk, I really just could not justify keeping it around, so I ended up sacking it just to get Tortuga here, a good position to Shell Smash and start wreaking havoc, because I have Zen Headbutt on this thing, and now that Stunky is gone, nothing is realistically stopping him. Or her in this game. So yeah, I decided to Shell Smash. I thought he was going to use a Giga Drain or Sludge Bomb, and I thought Sludge Bomb would put me in range to activate my Berry Juice, but it did not, unfortunately. So yeah, I ended up using Zen Headbutt, and then he would end up sending out Krogunk. So Krogunk was a pretty good play here on his part, because basically it forced out Tortuga. I did want to go Lileap here, but I was very, very scared that it would do like a lot of damage. Or that he would nasty plot on the Switch. Because it's very obvious that I don't want to lose Tortuga, but my logic for staying in here was that basically I had a very low chance of setting up in front of anything else but Marini, because the main mods that he would have probably sent out for us to match were probably going to be Krogunk or Oddish, and because I was already chipped, it was going to be basically impossible for me to get a smash off again successfully, even if I did get it on like Marini or something. So, because if I smashed again, that would mean that if I smashed again without Sturdy, that would mean Krogunk basically comes in every single time. Like every single time this thing comes in, if I switched it out, Krogunk just comes in and just like boop boop, vacuum wave, Tortuga gone. And that would just be a very unhealthy game to go about doing it, so I decided to stay in and just get rid of Tortuga because I still had a win path with Arkin and also Tyrant, so yeah, I wasn't really particularly worried about losing Tortuga here. So yeah, Vacuum Wave kills. I ended up sending out Lileap instead of Arkin because my main reasoning for that was because I didn't want Arkin to get into defeatist range because I still needed him to kill Marini, and I didn't want to depend on Tyrant because he could still get revenge killed by Krogunk very, very easily. So I didn't want to like lose like that. So yeah, I sent out Lileap because it has Earth Power and it could check Krogunk very healthily because it's especially defensive wall. So yeah, I force out his Krogunk. He sends in Marini. I use Earth Power, and Marini actually just cannot switch into it. So, interesting factoid. I was under the impression that Marini probably outsped my Lileap due to natural speed tiers, and I just don't invest speed in my Lileap, so I just knew it would probably outsped. And I didn't want to start doing a Recover Horse, so I just decided, you know what, screw it. We're just gonna go straight into Tyrant and start threatening him. Because Scald is only a 30% chance to burn. I knew risking getting Scalded was a pretty bad idea, especially in terms of winning, but I was pretty confident that he wouldn't burn, and even if he did, I probably would still get like a lot of damage off on him because of Eviolite Tyrant just being incredibly good. So yeah, he did recover as I expected. I Dragon Dance. He clicks Knockoff instead of Scald, which was not what I was expecting at all, personally. But yeah, he does get rid of my Eviolite, which should, in theory, make it easier for Krogunk to revenge kill me. But as he'll find out, Tyrant's kinda fat. And it ended up killing his Krogunk. So after that, the game was pretty much won. He knew it, as you can see by his GG. So yeah. After that, the game was just won. And there you have it. I won my game. Just like that. So yeah, it was a very quick game, only 18 turns, and I played. I'm not gonna say I played absolutely spectacular the entire time, but I do think I made a couple of decent calls, and I definitely played very calm and collected, and I didn't really try to like let my nerves get to me a lot. I just played confidently and coolly, and I just I just let the flow of the match happen. And it also helped that I didn't have timer constantly like worrying me and stuff like that. And I already knew most of the calcs beforehand because, as I said, I play a lot of LC, so I kind of just know how much damage I do to all these things already, so I don't really need to calc. But I do calc just in case I'm running a different set.